Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another video on the channel where today we're going to be going over what I think, in my opinion, are the top 3 formations, the top 3 go-to formations in FIFA right now. So if you do enjoy the video and you would like to see more, do drop a thumbs up. Make sure you join our Discord down below in the description. It'll be the top line of the description. Make sure you join our Discord. We have some good chats going on there about FIFA and just general things. So make sure you do go and join that. It would be really fun for you. But without further ado, going into these top 3 formations. Now, starting off at number 3, I'm going to go with a 4-2-3-1. Now, this is not a formation that I personally like. I played with this just recently. I think it was yesterday or maybe the day before in the draft. And I just don't like it. It's not a formation that I like, but it is a formation that, number one, is really, really popular with the pros every single year because it is a very difficult formation to break down. It is a tough formation to play. Obviously, you wouldn't play Ronaldo at CDM. You would change it up. So I probably would stick Owen out there, Ballack in at CDM, and then obviously Marquinhos in at CDM if I can get it without, yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter. Anyway, 4-2-3-1 is a top formation. It's really popular with the pros, and it's a tough formation to break down every year. You know, regardless of how you want to play, if you're somebody who plays the drop back 1 depth, which, you know, hopefully nobody who's watching this video does because it's not something I advertise and approve of, but it's a tough formation to break down. Even if you're someone who just plays like balance maybe, or whatever you play, it's a hard formation to break down. It's very compact, very solid, and it's very good for certain styles of FIFA. Now, if I was playing with this formation, I'd go balanced on the defensive style. I wouldn't try and press in it because it is quite a defensive formation. The starting position is quite defensive. I'd probably go for something maybe like a 4 or a 5 width. Again, you play to the strengths of a formation. The strengths of this formation is defense. So you have to play to the strengths of the formation. You know, you wouldn't try and play a super high depth with a 4-2-3-1 because it's quite a defensive formation. So you play to those strengths. So I'd probably play on something like 4 or 5. Offensive style, I would probably play on fast build-up. I do think in like the narrow compact formations, as I've said before, fast build-up works super well, and it's really tricky to play against in narrow formations, and it's just the most effective way to play. Offensive width, I'd probably leave on 5 players in the box on 5. I'd probably go for quite a standard setup if I was using 4-2-3-1. And then I think you probably can all guess you'd go stay back while attacking on the fullbacks. It's just a very good way to play. Most people would go with cut passing lanes, stay back while attacking on their CDMs. And this is like the typical 6-4 split, if you like. You know, Neymar I'd have on free roam, Ronaldo I'd have on stay central and get in behind, and then the 2 wide players I'd leave on balance. And that's kind of like your typical 4-2-3-1 setup. And it's tough to play against. You know, it's not my preferred way of playing. It's why I don't play the 4-2-3-1, but it's effective. It's one of those where you have to respect it because it's effective, but it's not a fun way to play FIFA. But if you're looking for a formation that's going to help you get more wins and be a bit more successful, but maybe take some of the fun out of the game, then this is the formation to go with because it's a tough one to beat. You know, it's good in all the right areas, and yeah, it's not the most fun formation to play. But if you want success, you want results, this is definitely one to go for. The second formation, the number 2 best formation, I would say is the 4-4-2. I think this is, I would probably say for me, this is the formation that I probably struggle against the most. I think it's a tough formation to play against, hence why it's on this list. You'd stick Marquinhos in there, and that's how I'd probably would play that setup. But the reason why the 4-4-2 I find so difficult is because even though there's no cam or CDM to kind of link from the CDM to link the centre backs and the midfielders, and the cam to link the midfield to the strikers, it's a really good formation to press in. I would arguably say it's probably the best formation in FIFA to press in, and pressing is quite a good thing in this game. Whether you're someone who uses the D-pad team press, this formation with the D-pad team press is so good. And just pressing in general, this formation is super good with. It's a really tough formation to play against. Very simple. You know, it's just a flat 4 in midfield, a flat 4 in defense, 2 up front. It's very simple, but it's really effective. And sometimes simple is a good way to play. Now, defensive style, again, I would probably go pressure on heavy touch if it was me. Again, working on a press works really well for this formation. Depth-wise, I'd move it up to around about 6. You know, defensive style I leave on balance because I think it's a pretty good defensive setup the way it is. Offensive style, I would probably go long ball. Again, this is a formation that fast build-up wouldn't work well in because you don't have CDMs or cams. Fast build-up works well with CDMs or cams in your team because that means there's a connect between your defenders and your mids and your strikers. Without that, it doesn't work super well. Possession could work for this, but it's just a bit slow for my liking, so I definitely would go with long ball, getting those strikers to run in behind. Offensive width, go for about 4. Want to get those wide midfielders a little bit narrower in a starting position so I can get them a bit more involved. And then the bottom 3 players in the box, corners and free kicks, I leave the same for every formation. That's individual based, that's not formation based. That's just, do you want players in the box, do you want players in the box for corners, you know? So that's nothing to do with like the formation. That's just like personal preference, no relevance to the formation. And then moving across to the instructions, I'd have Mendy and Carlos Alberto again on stay back while attacking. Again, that's kind of standard. I'd have them on stay back while attacking. Allison, I would have on comes for crosses and sweep keeper, which again I would have for every single formation. The 2 midfielders, I don't think Marquinhos would be the midfielder I'd use if I was using 4-4-2. You really want 2 kind of box-to-box midfielders. You want midfielders like someone like Ballack is perfect because he can defend and he can attack. Because the way I would play with these 2 midfielders, I'd have them on cover centre and I'd just have them on stay on edge of the box. And that's how I play with them because they are box-to-box midfielders. So someone like Ballack, you know, can when you're in a defensive shape, can make interceptions, can make tackles, is physical. But when you get into the attacking third, he has the ability to pick passes, to dribble, and to shoot, because those midfielders do get into goal-scoring opportunities, so they do need to be able to score as well. That's why Marquinhos wouldn't be a great one because he hasn't got the offensive traits. Now, the wide players, I would have cut inside, and I would have them on getting behind, again working with that long ball technique. I don't really change too much in terms of the crossing runs because you have them on 5 on the tactic page. So if you was to change them on here, it kind of interferes with how your tactics play. Your tactics take priority over your instructions. So if you set your players in the box to like 8, for example, and you have this guy unbalanced, he's going to go into the box anyway because you've want 8 players. You know, you want more players getting into the box, hence why you had it on your tactics. So I don't really change them too much. And then the strikers, Ronaldo and Owen, I just have on stay central and getting behind. You don't have to have the getting behind tactic on because you've got the long ball tactic on, so you don't need the one getting behind. You can actually just leave them on mixed. But for me, if they're quick strikers, I want them running in behind anyway. So I just leave the attacking runs on. If you feel like you need someone to maybe link up the attack or the midfield, for example, you could actually have one of your midfielders on stay back while attacking, and you could have one of your strikers on. You could have one of your strikers on false 9, because now I wouldn't use Ronaldo as the false 9. It's just an example. He will now drop in and not play as a cam. He'll play as a centre forward. So he'll link the play up from the midfielders to the strikers, and then Marquinhos gone on stay back while attacking, he'll be able to link up between the centre backs in the midfield. So if you feel like you could do that, if you feel like you do want to have those centre mids, you know, linking up the play. But if you was going to do that, I don't know why you'd be playing 4-4-2 anyway. If you feel like you need a cam and a CDM, you wouldn't be playing a 4-4-2 flat. So I probably would just stick to how we had it set up before. And then the number 1 formation for me, you guys know, is the 4-2-2. This is the best formation, man. This I've been using this formation since the beta, which was like August. You know, I've been using this formation for like 4 months, 4.5 months. It's just so good. It just suits the way that I like to play, and this is why this is my top 3 list. This formation is just so good. I rate this formation at number 1, and that's so important that you have a formation that works for you. And I've just found this 4-2-2 works for me. I'm looking for like a secondary formation, so I'm going to give 4-4-2 a blast this weekend and just see how that works, because I just need something else to change into for like the second part of the game if I'm leading. So I just need something a bit more solid. This 4-2-2 is so good. There's so many times that I've had this 4-2-2 and it's so good. Even if you're in a losing position, it's such a good formation to have, because you just find that you're able to just always get back into games. I have pressure on heavy touch, the width on 5, the depth on 6, long ball, and then the narrow offensive width to get those wide cams a little bit narrower, but they're on free roam anyway, so they do drift around, sometimes into wide positions, sometimes into the cam position behind the 2 strikers, and then the rest of that is the same. And then moving across to the instructions, I have stay back while attacking and conservative for all my defenders, because my 2 center midfielders, which are actually CDMs, I don't play them on stay back while attacking. I play them on balanced on the attack, and I have them on aggressive interception, so they jump into tackles, so I don't want my back 4 jumping into tackles. And then Lozano and Owen I have both on free roams, they drift around like we said. Neymar is on false 9, stay central, and then Ronaldo stay central and get in behind using the pace and skill that this team has. But they are my top 3 formations in FIFA 21. We will have like detailed breakdown guides if you'd like to see them in the coming days and weeks. But that is it for my top 3 formations. Make sure you join the Discord down below.